Hello guys, welcome back. This is gonna be part 2. Please watch part 1. It's as if I didn't want to make part 2, but there's a lot because I want you to follow along and I want you to ask the questions. I want you to reply on the comments and ask. Moreover, I want you to just put aside 25 rand per session for a full hour. Then I can teach you all of this slow just for you, right? From Monday to Friday, from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. Just hit me up. Before I continue with part 2, I want to tell you more about just a little bit about this personal YouTube channel of mine, right? You find this content helpful, but most importantly, all the videos I'm making, I'm uploading them on YouTube. There, YouTube is not censoring me, it's not blocking whatever I want to upload, right? I'm just restricted by the socials, right? So this is where we were. We're still talking about AutoMapper part 2, and I want to show you how the request, you would expect the request, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna do undo and show you this guy, right? So normally this is how you would write a code to say, listen, I'm expecting this request and I'm gonna map each and every property to this. So this is how it was supposed to be, and with that data, right, you will just add it to the feedbacks table in a database and you will save that. So then I said in the previous video part 1 that with one line of code this is not necessary. What's necessary is now something that I want to explain, which is how do you still make use of this request, right? Now you need to have a local variable that will hold the instance, right? So you're gonna say mapper.map. So let's read this guy. This will execute a mapping from the source object to a new destination object. Now the new destination object will be this guy. This will be destination, right? Now the source type is inferred from the source object, right? So what comes inside the parentheses is the source, which is the request coming from the mobile application, right? It's gonna end up now to the destination, and this will be what we're expecting. So with one line of code, I've made use of AutoMapper everywhere. So this is how it is. So let me just show you by just executing. Let's try this out. Now remember, let me just hit refresh this side. So I wanted to show you this guy. Okay, so let's say the feedback is gonna be new feedback. That's gonna be a title, and then the message will be, this is a sample message for feedback. And the rating, I'm gonna just give it rating of 2, and then I'm gonna use the day. Today is the 15th of September, of course, but I want to go 5 days earlier on the 10th of, I want you to pay attention to this. The user will be, let's just say, YouTube user. Now this is what makes up a request. Remember, I've made videos talking about the contracts. Part 1 talks about requests, part 2 talks about responses, right? So if you look at this guy, I'm having 10 items. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to execute this guy, give it a couple of seconds, and then we're getting the response as 200, right? And then I'm going to refresh this guy. Hit refresh. They should be 11. There they are, 11. So you see how it mapped. So what we wrote previously, this is a new title and this is a message, and the rating is 2, and this is the date, which is the 10th of September, 5 days earlier, and it's not public, and the user is a YouTube user, right? Now let me show you something, but how do I get that data, right? So let me close this guy. So when it comes to now the response, I'm expecting it, you see, I'm still expecting what? five properties to to map up the values, right? So let's go to the second part of the profile, so which is this guy. It's going to create a map from the source to a destination. So this will be the source coming from a database to a new way of formatting this response or whatever that comes from database, right? And like I said, when we look at this one, you see this side I'm only having 5 properties, and that's exactly what I'm expecting here. Do you understand? And again, this will be used by the same mobile application both on Android and iOS, right? Cool. So let me do what? Okay, let me just execute as it is. So let's hit try out, execute. So you see all of these, right? But you don't see the most recent one that we just added, which is this one, new feedback. It's because it's not meant to be public. So the power of AutoMapper comes here, right? That I have omitted or decided not to have is it public or show public property, because I don't want to expose that to the end user, which is the mobile application, right? So what does that mean? You won't see the newly created or added feedback because it's not public. But as soon as I edited this guy and say, okay, I like the feedback, let's go and edit and check this guy and hit save. By just doing that, right? Remember this website that you see, it's a web application, which is MVC, and the one that you see here, it's a web API. So let's confirm quickly, yes, this is true. But now let me run the same command, execute. You see now it becomes the first guy that shows up. You understand? Because then what we are saying is that, listen, only show the feedbacks whose value is true. So let's see that in action, the service. So now we're talking about this guy, right? This method. So again, this is still mapped, and we'll come to this line in a second. But what we're doing is we are saying, listen, database, go to a table called feedbacks. There, I want you to filter the results. Give me everything, but only if the records, the value of those records are to be shown publicly, which is show public true. I want you to order by descending, and I'm going to give you what you should order by, which is the most recent added one, and I want you to return that as a list. When I have that, it becomes a list. Obviously with a list we need to do what? To do for each. But previously this is how we would do it. So let me just do get, right, and say new. There we go, right? So this is how you would go about previously. So the first property, okay, okay, why am I not seeing title? Oh, because it's a list. All right, so this one is gonna be a little bit complicated to do this. Because this guy, we said it should be a list. So normally let's just say feedback response is gonna be this guy. Right? So let's do title. It's gonna come from item.title. Let's do message. It's gonna come from item.message. Let's do rating. It's gonna come from item. You see, I don't have enough time, but I want to show you all of this. It's complex, so we get rid of this and we just leave it with one line, and that will get us the feedbacks. Only 25 Rand. I can teach you all of this for a full hour. Thank you.